Hey, Shalom, Shalom, Shalom. This is Saul R with Saints Advocating Law and Truth. I am the salt of the earth. You are the salt of the earth. We are the salt of the earth. Making sure that each and every sacrifice is a sweet savor to the Most High God, seasoned with salt. And with that being said, giving all honor and praises to the Most High God, waking us up to this truth, allowing us to go out and to preach the gospel, to edify our people, to lift each other up, to gather together. Man, it truly is a beautiful thing, right? And then I want to give a shout out to all the brothers in the camps, out of the camps, doing the work, um, fulfilling their part, working for their penny, man. That spreading this gospel throughout the four corners of the earth, being a witness to the nations, right? I want to give a shout out to the women of the Lord, standing behind their husbands, giving them peace of mind, holding them down. It definitely does not go unnoticed, man. You are an engine as well in this, and you have a part to play in this too. And shout out to the women of the Lord. So our praises, and let us not forget our Lord Yahweh Shai, man, giving all honor and respect to him. That's due. But with that being said, we're gonna get into this, man. I was on YouTube and I was typing in clickbait, Israelite this, Israelite that, pulled up a YouTube short of a sister going into Deuteronomy 28, talking about Israelites or a cult, and that when we use Deuteronomy 28, we use it foul. It's foul play, basically. Sister said it's foul play. She didn't say that like verbatim, but we use it wrong. We don't know what we're talking about, and we're crazy, and we're just religious zealots, basically. And it's a sad thing when our people are not genuine. A lot of our people aren't genuine. We have a pride about us, and we have a biased pride. And that means that when we see something and it doesn't align with what we want it to be, and it doesn't align with our happy space, happy place in our life, then we reject it. And we utilize every source, we utilize every opportunity to stamp it out and to make it not be the truth, right? They don't want us to be the Israelites. They don't want us to be God's chosen people. They don't want the Bible to say that. It's a lot of things in the Bible that they don't want to say, and we're coming into a time that they're discrediting the Bible as we speak. Man. The Bible is being discredited, and the Bible is losing that authority amongst the nation. They didn't have hold it as authority anyway. They knew it was a holy book, and that's because of the power of the Most High. But we getting into that, man. It is the times is among us. But we're gonna check out this video. I'm gonna turn my mic off. I'm gonna let the video play.
People be like, you believe Hebrew Israelites is a cult? And I do. Because it is a cult. It's a religious cult, period. There's no evidence. Descendants of the transatlantic slave trade are related to the Israelites of the Bible. So, what Hebrew Israelites try to do is use Deuteronomy 28 as a DNA test. I don't know who this is for, but Deuteronomy 28 is not a prophecy. But let's say it was a prophecy. Y'all still don't fulfill all these prophecies. Deuteronomy 28:52 says,
They will besiege you within all your gates until your high and fortified walls that you trust in come down throughout your land.
What walls were besieged? 28:68 says,
The Lord will take you back in ships to Egypt by a route that I said you would never see again. There you will sell yourselves to your enemies as male and female slaves, but no one will buy you.
Last time I checked, African slaves weren't selling themselves. Folks were selling them. And people bought them. And when did we go back to Egypt? Because I got questions. Most Hebrew Israelites will tell you we was on literal ships, but we went back to metaphorical Egypt to be literally sold again. It don't make sense. People be like, you believe Hebrew Israelites is a cult? And I do.
All right, man. I had to hear it, you had to hear it, and that was gross and that was nasty. And it was ill, it was foul, and it was dirty. It was dirty, and you're a goofy, you're a goofball, and you should know better. You don't know better, but you should be ashamed of yourself. That was gross. That was nasty, man. And look, we're gonna take the mighty sword of the Lord and we're gonna slice it, and it ain't gonna take that long. I'm trying not to take that long because it don't take that long when you get cut and you start bleeding out. It don't take that long to bleed out. So we're gonna get into it. I'm gonna pull up this book, man. This book is called Jews and Moors in Spain by Joseph Kroska. Jews and the Moors in Spain. It's a good book. It's a good read. I enjoyed it, man. Um, and it has a lot about the Jews, the Portuguese Jews, us in Spain, us in Portuguese, the Spanish Inquisition, the things that led up to Columbus sailing across the oceans, 1492. The Spanish Inquisition was a dark time, man. It shit get wild. But look, Jews and the Moors in Spain. Let me share my screen. Forget to share my screen. Should be looking crazy. Be looking crazy reading from the screen and it ain't shared. The people want to see too. Get it together. All right. Where we at? Where we at with it? And this book was published in 1887. I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna make sure about that. 1887, I believe. Yeah, it's published in 1887. Let me refresh. Gotta start kicking them kids off the Wi-Fi, man. Book just look old. All right. So in the beginning of the book, the author is he's poetically writing about the city of Cordova, Spain, Portuguese. One, is it Cordova, Spain, or Portugal? He's writing poetically about it, and this is what he says about one of the inhabitants of the place, right? He says, follow my cursor. We ask our black-eyed, bronze-complexioned, and proud-featured oarsmen for the name of the magnificent city that lies stretched for miles along the right bank. He understands us not. So he's talking to a black man, bronze complexion. Bronze is a derivative of brown. Let's not act crazy. He said, we address him in French, in German, in Greek, in Latin. No answer. We are at our wits' end. We must know. And so we seek recourse as a last resort to our mother tongue, the language of the Hebrews. And his face brightens and his tongue is loosened, and in accents as melodious and pure as it must have been spoken by David himself. So the author is telling you that these Jews in Spain are of Negroid descent. I'm just making. I gotta double check, man, because this software get wicked, man. Satan get wicked. I'll be looking at something, then the next minute, it just be done blanked out, and I gotta record it over for the sixth time. Con. All right. But I do recommend brothers and sisters go get this book. It's not a very long book, and it's very vibrant in how it reads. Um, you'll enjoy it, man. And definitely if you trying to get into the history of things, you'll enjoy it. So I think it was May 30th, 1492. Um, the proclamation went out throughout Spain, and I believe it was Portugal as well, that the Jews will have to leave. They had 4 months to leave, right? So what they did, what was going on, the Jews were being persecuted. They weren't allowed to be Jews. We see that in the book of First Maccabees and Second Maccabees, and it's happened again with the Spanish Inquisition. They were being persecuted. Either you convert to be a Christian or die. Um, if you had on some better looking clothes on the Shabbat, they put you to death. Oh boy, you got them. You put your clean J's on. What day is it's a Shabbat? No, this brother got on nice clean forces. He had on dirty forces the other days, but on today he got on nice clean forces, a white tee, and his bandana in his back pocket. Put him to death, right? If you lit a fire, if you did not light a fire on that day, they put you to death. It was that they was on that type of time, man. But when you get to August the 2nd, 1492, the 4 month expiration of eviction is up, and they start loading these Jews onto ships. Man, they start taking kids away from their mothers, taking the mothers away from the children. That's Deuteronomy 28 and 50 as we try to talk about that. This is not a prophecy, you goofy. But they start doing it. And I'm going to read down. They start putting them on these ships and they start dropping them off in Italy, other parts of Europe, and Africa, off the coast of Africa. It says, follow my cursor. Another ship load was cast out by a barbarous captain upon the African coast. So the captain was dumping these black Jews out along the African coast, where the African savages pounced down upon them and abandoned themselves to frightful cruelties. The men and youth they sold into slavery. We know that the Negro and the African are two different people. They're not the same. The Negro and the African are not the same. This tells you that those Jews, the Africans took them and they sold them into slavery. So when you read in history and they say Africans sold other Africans, no, that's a technicality. They just being simple. It's more complex than that. It gets more complex than that. You got Africans who sold Israelites into slavery. It's right here. It's in the history, and you can't ignore that, right? I want to get one more out of here. So you also get a plague that strikes off into Spain. A plague is just are killing people. They start blaming the Jews, just like how they do anything else. And this is how they handled it. Salaki. It says the king's creed awoke again simultaneously with the reawakening of his greed. He issued an edict which threw even that of Torquemada into the shade. All Jewish children below 14 years of age were torn from their parents' arms, dragged into the church, baptized. Imagine you have a culture, and from 14 and under, all the children under those culture are washed. Their culture is washed away, and from babies to 14 years old, they're taught another culture, and then they teach their children that culture, and it goes on. After a while, the culture is washed out. The culture that they had before is washed out. It's another reason why we don't remember and we don't have this evidence in these tides. It's about faith, people. If you ain't figured it out, it's about faith, right? It says so below 14 years of age were torn from their parents' arms, dragged into the church, baptized. Those under 3 years of age were given to Christians to receive a Christian education, so that they were adopted by Christians, or in other words, to be raised as slaves. Those between 3 and 10 years of age were put on board of a ship and conveyed to the newly discovered unwholesome island of St. Thomas, called Illas Perdidas, the Isles of Perdition. If you look up and research where St. Thomas is, it's off the west coast of Africa. It's off the west coast of Africa. This happened in 1492. You know what else happened in 1492? And about 100 years later, 100 or less years later, we get the slave trade that starts kicking off on the west coast of Africa along the slave coast. With some of these Spanish Jews, the Jews that had already been living there, that had already been dispersed. That's prophecy. That's in Deuteronomy 28. So if you say that Deuteronomy 28 is not prophecy, you're goofy. And I got another book, man. Hebrewisms of West Africa. Let's see. I'm not gonna post this one up on the screen, but I'm going to just read a couple of pages. I'm gonna just read a couple of pages just for the sake of time, because I got 2 articles I want to get into, as well as get the slicing with the sword of the Lord. This is page 22 of Hebrewisms of West Africa, and it says, it says, is it possible to establish even a partial historical contact between the Ashanti of today and the Hebrews of fully 2,000 years ago or more? The problem might be approached either by trying to trace the story of the dispersion of the Jews, usually called the diaspora, or by the study of tribal beliefs and practices and the records of early African travelers, particularly of those who had written of the manners and customs of the Negro. When you get into the study of West Africa, West Africa from the 9th century all the way up into the slave trade, you start seeing things like these similarities between Hebrew culture. You start seeing these people on the west coast of Africa, the slave coast, these tribes, Igbo, the Ashanti, the Dahomey, the Togo, and I wish I had my brother Yahweh on here, because I know he'll break down the whole thing. Salaki, I should have hit you up, man. But they start having these similarities to Israelite culture, having their sons circumcised on the 8th day. Their priest had a priest set up wearing the ephod. The women being set apart for the minstrels. The how they worship and pay respect to this one God that they have. The sayings like only the priest shall not see the face of the Lord and live. That's straight from the scriptures, right? The scholars are saying that the only way that you can get this close to how these people's customs and culture is if they the Israelites themselves, because the Bible was not written in their language. They had the Bible was not translated and written in a language. They had to hold on to this stuff themselves, right? And over time, through the mixing of culture and surrounding, if you read the Bible, you know how the Israelites, when they be around heathen, they get to lusting after the ways of the heathen, and then the ways and how they supposed to operate with the Most High, it get polluted. The same us in West Africa is no different. We start losing some of our savor, some of our saltiness, and start taking on the ways of the heathen. But it says the customs of the Negro before the inroads of Islamism had tended to utterly destroy all traditions of the past. So us being in Islam, it took away the knowledge and the passing down that of the customs that we had that were given to us in the law of Moses, our feast days, the way that we serve the Most High God, and the way that we worship. a lot of stuff it started getting watered down. I'm gonna read this. This page 93 of Hebrews of West Africa. It says, even those colonies of Jews which are comparatively recent foundations in Africa, because they not native Africans, they were recent, their foundations were recent Africa, their civilizations, their cities, their villages, they were new, coming off from Portugal, and only maybe 400, 500 years before that. It says, recent foundation in Africa have for the most part deteriorated completely from the ideals of their race and their religion. They lost sense of their race and their religion. That's why we are so disconnected from who we are. And just like the Lord say, he said that he will cause us to disconnect from our heritage, right? That's also a prophecy, right? All right, man. Now I want to get into Deuteronomy 28. Let's get into Deuteronomy 28. This goofball said it's not a prophecy. I'm gonna be nice to the sister, man. The sister don't know no better, and it ain't her fault. Stall them out, Debo. Share my screen, because I always seem to forget to share my screen. All right. Deuteronomy chapter 28 and 15. A prophecy means the prefix pro. Matter of fact, I ain't even finna play with it, because I ain't finna act like I know. Like I'm just on words, and I'm gonna look it up, because I'm gonna keep it 1,000. Prophecy definition. I'm gonna share my screen. How about I just read it? I'm gonna say it time. I'm just read it. Just trust me. I'm a brew. I shall not lie to the people. Says prophecy, a prediction, a bleak prophecy, a war ruin. It's a tradition, a prediction, a forecast, prognosis, the faculty, function, or practice of prophesying, telling something, foretelling the future, forecasting the future, telling something that's in the future, right? Go back to Deuteronomy 28. Verse 15 says, but it shall come to pass, meaning that it's going to happen in the future. It shall come to pass. It's going to happen, right? All these things that happen after these curses, it says, but it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. Curse shall thou be in the city, curse shall thou be in the field. Curses, whatever you do, right? All these things are going to be upon you. All of these things are going to take you. And it was going to come to pass. And these curses were going to pursue you no matter where you went. She said it's no link, it's not a DNA test. She don't know who this is for. Well, that's cool. You don't know who it's for, we know who it's for. Deuteronomy 28 and 46. And these curses shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder, and upon thy seed forever. 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 No matter, as long as the Israelites are on the face of the earth, which the Lord had said that the Lord said that it's easier for the sun and for the moon and for the stars to just stop. He not wiping away Israel. It's just not happening, right? That's what he said. The Lord does not change. These signs are going to be on them to tell who they are, so they'll know who they are. The signs, these curses are going to stick to them, and that's who the Israelites are going to be able to tell who they are, especially in these latter days, because the curses are on us. But all right, man, let's look into some curses, man. Let's look into some modern day. I want to get some modern day stuff, man. I gotta go to my notes. All right, I want to look at some modern day stuff. All right, Deuteronomy 28 and 20. It says, "The Lord shall send upon thee cursing, vexation, and rebuke in all that thou settest thy hand is in all that thou settest thine hand unto for to do." Everything that you try to do, you're gonna be rebuked. You're gonna be rejected. It's just not gonna work. For some reason, it just won't work. Every time we try to uplift ourselves up, get out of the hole, get out of that barrel, it's always something that just comes on us. And as a whole, as a nation of people, we just can't seem to just get the war. We just can't seem to get out the water, man. It says, "Until thou be destroyed, and until thou perish quickly because of the wickedness of thy doings, whereby thou hast forsaken me." All right. Get one more. Deuteronomy 28 and 29. "And thou shalt grope at noonday as the blind gropeth in darkness, and thou shalt not prosper in thy ways," because you're going to be rebuked. You're going to be vexed. You're going to be overwhelmed. You're going to be exhausted. You're going to be depleted and depressed with no funding, no income, no education, no resources, no foundation. "And thou shalt be only oppressed and spoiled evermore, and no man shall save thee." All right, man. I got this article from Forbes. I got to get more efficient with this screen sharing. I'm gonna just hit this article real quick. All right, this is an article from Forbes. All right, with the pop-ups, man. Get out of here. Poof pow. Is that another pop-up? God dang. All right, it says reports show Black small businesses still face major challenges, right? This came out in February. No, that ain't right. It's recent. I think it came out in 2021. Get down. I'm gonna read this paragraph right here saying last fall, the U.S. Census Bureau released the 2021 annual business survey covering 2020. So this is 2022. This saying last fall, showing an estimated 140,918 Black-owned businesses with employees in the country earning 141.1 billion in annual receipts and employing 1.3 million workers. Yet, according to Brookings, Blacks comprise 4.2% of the U.S. population, but only own 2.3% of all employer firms. We ain't got, nigga, you ain't got nothing. Used to have nothing, now you got a whole lot of nothing. And if I'm reading that correct, it says that 140,000 of Black-owned businesses have employees. Additionally, there are about 3 million Black-owned businesses without employees. We don't have it. It's not that we're not capable as a people. It's not that we're not industrious. It's not that we have. I mean, I got a lot of homeboys and family and friends that got $1 million ideas. But as a people, as a nation, we don't have it. All right, and I'm about to scan through this because it's some meat down here. Most 86% of Black business owners surveyed believe their businesses are judged more critically than non-Black businesses. You will be vexed. Niggas keep fucking with me. Why these niggas keep fucking with me when we just trying to get some money? We just trying to get some pay. It says, despite what proved to be temporary surge, I don't want that. This is what I want. The Intuit QuickBooks report also shows that 57% of Black business owners were denied a bank loan at least once when they started their businesses, compared to 37% of non-Black owners. You will be rebuked. On average, it costs Black entrepreneurs $5,000 more to start a business than their non-Black peers, which $5,000 we don't have, and we'll have to get it from the bank. But see, the bank is going to deny us. So now, more time than none, we finna go get out the street, which causes us to commit iniquity, which iniquity and sin thus adds curses to the people. So then it's just a continual cycle. The Most High judgment is ring. While evidence shows it could take over 200 years to close the Black-white wealth gap, 73% of Black business owners surveyed are optimistic it will significantly decrease in the next 100 years. All right, man. I think the point was proven on that. The point was proven on that. All right, what else we got? I'm jumping back now. I gotta get, man. Look, if anybody know how to be more efficient at sharing these screens, let me know. I'm just trying to figure it out. All right, this is an article on no, I don't want that yet. I don't want that yet, boy. I almost did the. We're going back to Deuteronomy 28. So let's get some more curses. Some more modern day curses. We're gonna modern day curses. We want to keep it modern day, right? Let's see. Deuteronomy 28 and 22. The Lord shall smite thee with a consumption, and with a fever, and with an inflammation, and with an extreme burning, and with the sword, and with blasting, and with mildew, and they shall pursue thee until thou die. That's sickness, violence, and I'll call it defiled food. Or I wouldn't say, I'm not gonna say defiled food. I'll say low end product, low end produce. Deuteronomy 28 and 27. The Lord will smite thee with the botch of Egypt, and with the emeralds, and with the scab, and with the itch whereof thou canst not be healed. Right now, like most of my life, I've had eczema, and come to find out that it's not like a topical irritation, but it's a gut health thing, right? So I eat foods and and I'm allergic to them. I'll itch, and I'll have a scab, and I'll itch, and my eyes will water, and they'll burn, and they'll itch, and what reveals on my skin is eczema, right? I know people get this, but it's more common amongst our people, and you'll see that though people are sick and have diseases, but watch how more potent it is with our people, right? Deuteronomy 28. Did I finish that out? Yeah. Deuteronomy 28 and 35. The Lord shall smite thee in the knees and in the legs with a sore botch that cannot be healed, from the sole of thy foot unto the top of thy head. What that sound like? Gout, arthritis. 28 and 59. It says, "Then the Lord will make thy plagues wonderful, and the plagues of thy seed, even great plagues, and of long continuance, and sore sickness, and just a sick people, just unhealthy people, unhealthy living. Moreover, he will bring upon thee all the diseases of Egypt, which thou was afraid of, and they shall cleave unto thee. Also, every sickness and every plague which is not written in the book of this law, them will the Lord bring upon thee until thou be destroyed." These are prophecies. The Lord is going to bring it upon you. It's going to happen. These are prophecies. All right, now let's go. All right. Let's go to this other article. I'm gonna just keep my screen like that. That's better. It makes me feel a lot better. All right, this is, dang. Yes, sir. And we're gonna breeze through this, man. Key data on health and healthcare by race and ethnicity. This is Key FF. Forgot what that stands for. The Kaiser Family Fund, as it was called. We're gonna hit the main things, right? This says health and healthcare among people of color compared to white people. Number of measures for which group fared better, the same, or worse compared to. So over the years, it's gotten worse for the Negro. It's gotten worse for the Hispanic. I think this is. I forgot what that is. I ain't gonna lie to you. American Indian or Alaska Native, and this is Native Hawaiian or other Pacific Islander. So our healthcare situation has gotten worse over the years. Blacks make up about 12% of the population, so that plays a part when you're looking at these numbers. But percent of non-elderly adults without a personal health care provider by race, 18%, pretty high up there. Percent of children without a usual source of care when sick other than emergency room by race. Black and Hispanic is up there. Percent of adults with any mental illnesses who receive mental health services. Black and Hispanic is up there, but Edom, the Lord said He'll make him mad, crazy. We know how y'all get down. I don't even have to go into that. We're gonna start hitting them sicknesses. That's what I'm looking for. I think I was at the right point, but I had to go back up just for the sake of the article. Percent of adults reporting fair poor health status by race, ethnicity. Blacks and Hispanic is up there. For blacks to, and that's when I say we make up 12% of the population. So when you see us up there compared to like Hispanics making up 18%, and we know some of those Israelites as well, and we're dispersed all throughout the nation, but it's a high concentration in this part of the world. 12%, but you making up 20% of Adults reporting fair or poor health status by race ethnicity. That's pretty high. Like that's high. Percent of births with selected risk factors by race. Blacks 15% to make up 12% of the country. That's high. Birth rate for teens ages 15 through 19, blacks and Hispanics. High. Infant mortality, blacks higher shit. Pregnancy related mortality, blacks higher shit. Maternal mortality, and it's gotten worse. I wonder will abortion have anything to do with this? But I'm just proving the point. HIV diagnosis, blacks up there. These are the sicknesses, the diseases that is going to be on the children of Israel. Age-adjusted rate of cancer incidence, blacks up there. For to make up 12%, that's not good. That's not good. But there's a reason why it's like that. I'm not gonna go through all this article, but I wanted the main things of like uh drug overdoses. That's high. We up there. I wanted like diabetes, high blood pressure. Damn. Family median net worth by race. Damn. We don't own nothing. We don't own nothing. Niggas think they own their projects, but you don't own them projects, man. You don't even own the grass. Individuals living in crowded households. Well, we all knew that one. All right. I think the point is clear. I don't even have to get into that anymore. The point is clear. I probably just stayed too long on that anyway, and we're gonna. I'm about to. We about to wrap it up soon. She said Deuteronomy 28. Let's hit this Deuteronomy 28 real quick, and let's nip it in the bud, man. Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 68. It says, "And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships." She said, how can this be talking about a figurative Egypt but literal ships, right? Moses is speaking to a people who just came out of captivity. They were just slaves, right? They were just slaves in Egypt. Anytime with how traumatizing slavery is for that long, oppression for that long, Egypt to them, when you hear Egypt, the first thing that they think about is slavery. They think about their bondage. They think about their captivity. They're not thinking about pyramids and all this other type of stuff. That's like taking a slave 200, 300 years ago, and then he gets his freedom and he say, I'm gonna take you back to the all right, nigga, keep playing them. We're gonna take you back to the South. What that let's not play dumb. We know what that means. And guess what? I'm about we all about a generation or two removed from slavery, and we all know what that means. We 2-3 generations removed from slavery, and we know what that means. Stop playing games. And just for the purpose of the sword of the Lord, we're gonna get it in the scriptures. Read along with me, because I ain't gonna we just gonna read it like this. I'm coming straight from the phone. Exodus chapter 20 and verse 2. I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. It's bondage, man. It says, by the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again. And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies. This is the most dumbest thing people say. You shall be sold unto your enemies. It's a prophecy. You're gonna sold is past tense, meaning that somebody definitely was gonna sell you. You were gonna be sold. That he was gonna hit the soul, boom, taken off in chains, and now he's your owner. He owns you. Yeah, your enemies. Sold. That means it happened. It's going to happen. That's come on. Let's stay with me. You're gonna be sold to your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you. Now that's the stumbling block. It says no man shall buy you. And as Israelites, we teach that means that no man shall redeem you. And that's correct. When you get into the blue letter Bible, that word buy is Strong's 87069. It can mean literal, like buy something from the store. And it also means redeem. The way that the word is rendered and how it should be used is based upon the context. If it says a couple of words before that you shall be sold, then that in the latter and no man shall buy you does not mean that and no man is going to buy you. Like, you weren't actually sold. We just playing. I'm just playing. You weren't sold because then nobody buy you. That's not what that means, right? We're gonna get this. I'm gonna share my screen one more time. Remember that Strong's 87069. Because we see the same thing somewhere else in the Bible. That's why we just have to study. Studying is important. This is the book of Ruth, chapter 4, and verse 4. And I thought, matter of fact, I started at 3. And he said unto the kinsman, Naomi, that is come again out of the country of Moab, selleth a parcel of land which was our brother Elimelech's. And I thought to advertise thee, saying, buy it before the inhabitants. So Boaz is telling the people, look, Naomi's she's selling some land, and I'm trying to go holler at y'all first before everybody else hear about it. And before the elders of my people, if thou wilt redeem it, redeem it. But if thou wilt not redeem it, then tell me that I may know, for there is none to redeem it beside thee, and I am after thee. And he said, I will redeem it. Dang, this ain't what I wanted. Is it? Yeah. All right. Let's get down to that buy. It's the same buy. Strong's 87069. But everywhere else, that buy was substituted for redeem. And it was used in the same sense. Buy it, redeem it. Redeem and buy. They can be used interchangeably. But when you're talking about Israelite culture, it was a law that if a land was to be bought, it would be bought by the nearest of kin. Or, right, it would be bought by the nearest of kin, because you wouldn't have anybody just come up and just auction the land off to anybody. That it has to be redeemed, right? So that way, when you're talking about the law, and we talking about Israelites and Israelite culture, Deuteronomy 28 and 68, and no man shall buy you, no man is going to redeem you. No man is going to, you're going to be sold into slavery. And guess what? The Most High redeemed you out of Egypt, but this slavery, nobody. You're not being redeemed. You're gonna continuously be in captivity. All right. All right, man. That was very thorough, and that was way longer than I wanted to be. I didn't think it was gonna take that long, man. But I guess it was just she said a lot of words, and I was vexed. And I just got to cutting, and I just got to cutting, and I just got to poking. Now I'm just poking, and I done stuck the sword on the top of the head, and I just got to, you know what I'm saying, like overkill, man. I'd be locked up. But yeah, man, this is our Saints Advocating Law and Truth, man. I appreciate everybody tuning in. I hope you was edified, and I hope what people say, if this might have been a stumbling block, and if you came across this video, I hope that this gave you some insight and it kind of brought clarity to your situation. But I'm pushing my mark, man. Look, all praises to the Most High. About to end it right here. Shalom.